Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. I am Rev Tripathi and alongside me is Debashish Sen. You're watching the post-day live show presented by the IDFC First Bank. And what a day it was for Team India. Complete dominance after declaring their first innings on 503 runs, which saw Dhruv Jurel scoring his 100, second international 100, second test 100 after a gap of more than a year. It was the fast bowler, it was the bowlers who took couple of wickets to wrap up the day with India with India asserting their dominance in this Test match, and it could have been a better end to the match because the light was fading. It was dark, completely dark out there. And Prasidh Krishna first removed Lairu Udara, and then when umpire stopped the captain from using the fast bowlers, Manav Sudar was introduced for the final over, and he took Prabhat Jaisuriya's wicket to round off a very good day for Team India. Devashish, India have gone way ahead in this test match, courtesy of 200s from first Devdutt Padikkal, Dhruv Jurel, and then 250s from Shubman Gill and Rishabh Pant. But the last two wickets, the twin strikes, will give India far more edge in comparison to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, after the innings break, the Indians were when the covers were brought for a few moments, the Indians were reluctant to lead. The entire team was having a discussion with the on-field umpires. They were pretty much reluctant because the objective was to get a strike, and they will be happy with the fact that they got two strikes. And, what, and it was a perfect delivery from Manu Sudar, which Prabhat Jaisuriya couldn't get his bat, and he also was quite upset because had he played those two deliveries, then Sri Lanka would have been happy with just a wicket of Lairu Udara. And once again, Prasidh Krishna is time and again proving in this series when it comes to breakthrough. But this innings, I would say, it is a matter of two big partnerships. One that 120 run partnership and the other 112. So these two partnerships, if you have a partnership in any format, you can eventually post a big total, and that has been the case. Yes, India missed out on scoring 500 in the first Test match, the first innings involved, but here they were. This Shubman Gill was spot on. The moment the team reached 500, he immediately called back the overnight. Called back the not out batter Dhruv Jurel, and who was it? Prasidh Krishna.
It was in fact Prasidh Krishna who hit that boundary, and the moment Prasidh Krishna, which is a rarity, who averages two with the bat in Test cricket, the moment Prasidh Krishna scored that boundary, the team was called off. Both the players were called off the field because the team went past the 500 run mark, and Shubman Gill, the think tank, wanted the bowlers to get some time before the stumps were called, and that's what happened. Whatever the number of overs were bowled, because of the fading light, it gave India an opportunity, and it at the right time Prasidh Krishna was introduced. If umpires would have said before that Prasidh Krishna over that only spinners can bowl, then maybe Lairu Udara would have been there because Lairu Udara is a very good player of spin if you compare with his game against pace. So a very good end to India's but again the day was set up by Dhruv Jurel's incredible 100. Yesterday we saw Devdutt Padikkal scoring 100, and then Shubman Gill complimenting him really well from the other end with a half century. Today it was Dhruv Jurel who scored 100, and it was Rishabh Pant who complimented him really well from the other end. That 100 plus run partnership after the loss of the early wicket of Saransh then brought India back into the control, and that partnership actually really helped for India to post 500 run mark. But Devashish, what an incredible innings from Dhruv Jurel, because before the start of this match, even before the start of the series, questions were always around his place. Whether he merits a place in this playing 11 or not. But when he was asked about his form, he dismissed any sort of concerns. But it was about him translating that confidence into runs, which he did today.
Yeah, absolutely. Vayo, you are spot on. Means at least Devdutt Padikkal, Dhruv Jurel has grabbed their opportunities on this trip to Sri Lanka. But come the tour to New Zealand, I pretty much have doubts when because of the combination, Dhruv Jurel might still struggle to keep his place in the 11. See, New Zealand, the conditions will be, means India will definitely go in with an extra simmer. Means they might as well go in four simmers with Nitish Kumar Reddy coming in as an all-rounder. And three simmers will definitely be a certainty with Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna, and Nitish Kumar Reddy might be the fourth option. So I think India might as well go with a lone spinner. Even there also, there will be a tricky situation whether to go in with a Jadeja or a Manav Sutar, because conditions in New Zealand might not be ideal for the spinners. So I clearly feel that Dhruv Jurel might still just obviously that he will again get, get an opportunity come the Border Gavaskar Trophy. But as far as the two test match series against New Zealand is concerned, yes, in fact he was let down on 61 by Dhananjay De Silva at leg slip of Nuanta Kesara. Had that catch been taken, Sri Lanka has been very poor with their catching. They spilled two opportunities from Devdutt Padikkal. Devdutt Padikkal went on to score 100. They spilled an opportunity from Dhruv Jurel. He also went on to score 100. So obviously, the Sri Lanka's catching has been pretty poor. Please mention.
Okay, so when that moment happened when Dhruv Jurel got to three figure mark with that dive that he put on, there was a special celebration.
Yeah.
And when he was asked about that celebration in the press conference which is going on, he said that it was for the army men. His father obviously belongs to the defense forces, and it was for the farmers, as it's a very famous slogan back in India, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. So to support the idea, he celebrated his 100 in that manner. We have never seen Dhruv Jurel celebrating in that way. It's typical Dhruv Jurel celebration is he salutes, he just gives a salute towards the dressing room. That's what he did after he reached his 50 that we witnessed in ball as well, today as well. But this celebration was particularly for farmers and the defense forces, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, the famous slogan that goes back in India. So again, beautiful message from the wicketkeeper batter Dhruv Jurel. But Debashish, what was the most impressive aspect about Dhruv Jurel's batting? He has always looked a very fine technical batter against pace, against spin. But today it was more than about technique. It was about his character, the way Sri Lankan bowlers were operating in that short ball ploy. We saw Rishabh Pant being troubled by the bouncers. But on the other hand, Dhruv Jurel looked untroubled against the bouncers.
Yeah, absolutely, and he was pretty much assured against both the Sri Lankan pacers like Lairu Kumara and Asita Fernando, and that has been the hallmark of his knock today. Means he looked quite composed. His technique was quite right, except for that blemish where he got that opportunity to Nuanta Kesara. But overall, I think he will take it. He will take it in his stride. Given the way he batted in both the test matches, I think it will give a much needed confidence because his last century came a near back. So and in fact he dedicated the century to his parents. So that's a great gesture. See, in fact, Shubman Gill's father was also there, and he was continuously watching. He was also cheering when Dhruv Jurel was on his 90th. In fact, there was a fair bit of time when Dhruv Jurel was on. He in fact went back to the pavilion due to the break on 95. But from 95 to 100, he took a fair bit of time. There were some nervous moments in the dressing room. Each and every player, as well as the support staff, were in the dugout. And you could see the relief when Dhruv Jurel walked back after the innings was declared. Everyone came forward, the support staff, the players. Rishabh Pant gave him a big hug, and Rishabh Pant and Dhruv Jurel was involved in that partnership. Actually, that Mohammad Siraj, but Rishabh Pant, I took a pic of Rishabh Pant, who was at the dugout, just to give him a hug. So that clearly shows the camaraderie within the side, and we have been mentioning this time and again that this team is really to play for each other. That is what has been the hallmark of this team.
And you know, Devashi talked about that tense 99 moment. There is a very short, little sarcastic story that we had. Most of the members of the media contingent, Indian media contingent, were there in the at the end of that balcony region of the presser of the media room, and we were waiting. We all had our phones on out to capture that moment. We had to wait for at least a couple of overs, at least 3 overs, because Dhruv Jurel was cautious because on the other end there was a Mohammad Siraj, so he didn't want to risk Mohammad Siraj's wicket. We were there to capture the moment. 10 minutes pass, you're like, when this last run will came, because until it's obviously 99 runs was a good score, but 100 is all hundreds are always special. So we were waiting for that single run. The moment that single came, yeah, it was all relief. And you see, despite playing yesterday also he batted, today also he batted in these extreme conditions, the effort that he put in that dive, that tells you that he puts a price on his wicket. He puts a price on his wicket. His fitness levels is exemplary, and you see a workhorse. We have seen a workhorse in Dhruv Jurel right from the start when he arrived in Colombo. He used to bat. He used to actually match Devashi. He used to actually match Shubman Gill in terms of the number of balls that one faces in the nets. He used to spend a long hours in the nets. His runs hasn't come for him, but when it comes to preparations, his preparations has always been on time.
Yeah, if you go back to that practice session, each and every practice session, it was Rishabh Pant and Dhruv Jurel batting together. Even in the nets, even in the practice nets. And that is what means, obviously, it is not just about who keeps or who bats. And it is about that bond, that caring. Means obviously Rishabh Pant and in that partnership, the beauty about that partnership was each one of them was backing each other. And that was heartening to see. Means in this competitive era, means obviously you seldom see that someone is obviously eager to get his milestone, but that was not the case. It was about helping each other, and I think Dhruv Jurel will be pretty happy by the end by the end of the series to be scoring 100, to be contributing much like Rishabh Pant. Means obviously there was criticism on Rishabh Pant as well before that knock he played in ball 66 or 69. So I think, and then following it up with another half century. Um, but once again, and the body blows, the blows that Rishabh Pant took early on in the day, that shows tremendous character for me. In fact, that transpired the confidence in that dressing, that fight back, and that the Indians um, were pretty much confident. And I don't know what to make out of that Yashasvi Jaiswal tweet about that. I mean, I think he was it late away, because I feel that he was a bit lucky.
He was a bit lucky, and as we have shared the update as well, that it's official. ICC have fined both Yashasvi Jaiswal and Asita Fernando, who were involved in that physical heated altercation yesterday in the first session. Both have been fined 25% of their match fees, and they have got one demerit point each. In the last cycle, they didn't get any demerit point. This is their first demerit point, and after, if they have four demerit points, then it will lead to ban in some of the games. So yes, that was an update regarding Yashasvi Jaiswal and that Asita Fernando altercation. But again, since you mentioned about that tweet that we saw in earlier before the start of the day, Yashasvi Jaiswal is a very accomplished batter. He has scored most test runs for India since his debut. Nobody has, even Shubman Gill hasn't scored those many runs. And he's only a second after Joe Root to score most number of runs in test cricket since his debut. When you have achieved so much, when you have scored hundreds in Australia, England, at home you have that bumper series where you scored over 700 runs against England. What is the need to get into this when you can score runs, when you can answer your critics with the bat, much like Dhruv Jurel did today? And he was always confident about himself scoring those runs. But at times you can understand, as a youngster you get frustrated by whatever is happening outside. We don't know what exactly was the remark made by Asita Fernando or the Sri Lanka players. But still, for you to go out of your way and do these comments on social media as an international cricketer, contracted player, doesn't look really nice.
And that was uncalled for. Means to be um, um, taking on the social media and posting at that was uncalled, but obviously that happened because of the heat of the moment. Yesterday also, Shitanshu Kotak mentioned that something was said, something was said, but it happened at the heat of the moment. We will learn. He will learn. Obviously,
And
he has.
even Sitanshu Kotak condemned that. He said that
Everyone
he
will condemn. Everyone will condemn
shouldn't
his
have done
gesture,
that.
but I, lucky for him that he got just a 25% match fee deducted and just one demerit one. But thanks to Andy Pycroft, he is a very lenient match referee. Had it been someone else, I am pretty much sure. In fact, I also told in the post-test play live that he is staring at a match suspension. But I think he got let off. Means thanks to Andy Pycroft, it was pretty lenient. But the catch that he took of Prasidh Krishna, that was a whip-off. Means obviously flying full-handed and then grabbing it. So you could see from the body language, means he was not suspended for a match, and that actually he was pretty much confident that it was a brilliant catch.
And when you can do things on the field, such things, we know how good a fielder Yashasvi Jaiswal is, we know how good a batter he is. You don't need to get involved into social media stuff because, again, so Yashasvi Jaiswal is too good a player or too good a human being to do that. We all know how good he is as a human being, as a cricketer. Other than now, let's move away from Yashasvi Jaiswal and let's talk about a bit about Rishabh Pant. Last two innings, we have seen a big contrast. You see the last innings in golf, it was a brisk knock. It was a fiery knock with runs coming in an unorthodox ways. You captured some of the moments of Rishabh Pant going getting into unusual positions while scoring those runs. Today, his first scoring shot was a six, that hook shot that he played off Lairu Kumara's bowling, and that ball went outside the stadium. New ball came in, and after that, the Sri Lankan pacers started bowling the bumpers and well targeted bumpers. In the last innings, he got out by trying in attempt to pull a ball off Lairu Kumar's delivery. But today, he was happy to take all the blows. He was happy to sway away from the ball and not take the short pitch delivery, which was the plan of Sri Lanka to you know get him trapped again. To get him trapped again in that short ball play, it was their plan. But Rishabh Pant showing the great courage, and he can play that innings as well. And today he can take the blows much like Cheteshwar Pujara did in the Border Gavaskar Trophy 2021. He can do that as well. It totally depends on the match situation, what the team wants, that what approach Rishabh Pant will adopt.
Yeah, he's a gritty character. Means that goes without saying. Means obviously to be coming back after a life-threatening accident, and then means everyone, whoever has followed Rishabh Pant, that batting with a broken toe in that Old Trafford game. For me, that epitomizes the grit of Rishabh Pant. I mean, and he comes as a very, very determined character, gritty character. He's a fearless bloke. And once again, he displayed those skills. Means see, Test cricket means what means. There's a saying that you can look ugly, but what matters is the runs you score. Today was one such day where Rishabh Pant looked not that, but he was ready to take the blows. He was ready to take the blows. He got injured. In fact, he got hit by Lairu Kumara bouncer, and he had to retire that. But today, once again, he was willing to take those blows, and it is about those bruises. Means obviously, and he is one guy who is not scared to leave away the battlefield. And today was that knock that he played. In fact, epitomizes the courage. So that is Rishabh Pant, and I think he's an asset in the team. People might criticize when he fails with the bat, trying to play some improvised shots, audacious shots. But that is Rishabh Pant for you. He will never shy away from hitting such kind of shots.
And that is what the freedom that has been given to Rishabh Pant to play according to the way he wants. It's not about team management sending something, telling him something to do. He is going by his approach, what he thinks is best for the team, and that has been working so well for him so far in this series. If you look at the way he batted in golf, even today the way he got out, he was trying to clear the rope, and there is nothing that we can say about that defensive because those shots has given him success, and he scored a 50. He understood the conditions. He got the understanding of the
and,
pace
and,
of the
and
conditions.
he did not raise his bat.
Yeah.
Rishabh Pant, after reaching his half century, did not raise. Just looked on the sky. Dhruv Jurel was seen patting him. Uh, pretty reserved celebration. Means, uh, one would have hoped everyone, all the lensmen were with their lenses, trying to capture him, raising his bat, but that was not the case. Means everyone was disappointed because it was just him was watching at the heaven.
And that was so unusual from Rishabh Pant. Even the innings was unusual. I have never seen Rishabh Pant taking these many body blows. Yes, he plays the hook shot really well. He plays the pull as well in front of the square, much like Dhruv Jurel. But today it was something else. Today, another version of Rishabh Pant that we saw, and it was an impressive version of Rishabh Pant. He showed courage, and he was there in a battle with Tahiru Kumara and Asita Fernando, the two pacers. Yesterday he got hit, but today again he was in a duel and he was reluctant to give up and throw his wicket away. That we have seen with Rishabh Pant doing, but now as a senior player, that celebration, that silent celebration, told that he was not happy. He was not just content with a 50. He wanted more.
Yes.
He wanted to score big,
Yes.
and that's what your motto. That's what your target should be as a senior player because that was the last recognized batting player. There was Dhruv Jurel, Rishabh Pant. After that, there was a Manav Sutar who can bat, but again, it is only because of that 100 partnership that India were able to get past the 500 run mark.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is why his team management, Gautam Gambhir or Shubman Gill, stresses on the importance of contributions from each and every. See, even that 18 runs scored by Manav Sutar or Siraj means help when Dhruv Jurel was in his 90s. He did not go for some extravagant shot. He was rather pretty cool defending the ball. So these are little things that goes on to show that everyone. This is all about um, um, the team bonding, and I one would hope that this carries on because seven more very crucial and important test matches coming through against New Zealand and five against Australia. This series, yes, this series India are very much in favorites to win this series. In fact, White was there, did it last time as well, and they are on the verge of repeating it again. But what matters is how you carry forward this confident winning series win. Because obviously, New Zealand will be a tough opponent and challenging conditions.
Challenging conditions, and it will be India's first visit since 2020. The last time they visited was in 2020, and ever since then, conditions in New Zealand have also changed. India have not travelled there. This will be the first time for a lot of players of the current Test squad to play in New Zealand. Yes, that will be a different challenge. That will be one of the toughest challenge that India will face. But again, the road to the WTC final is not going to be easy. With Australia also coming, so two top teams after Sri Lanka. But first, the focus will be on winning this Test match, which is very important, which is going on at the SEC. Yes, 2 days India have dominated, but things can change completely. Things can change in a sessions play as well. One batting collapse, but as of now, it looks like India are in a position where they can bowl Sri Lanka out twice. They can enforce, if only if they can, they opt to enforce the follow on.
Yeah, obviously, but for that to happen, they need to bundle them out very cheaply. Means obviously, if they post somewhere around 200, 250, I don't think there will be a declaration coming. India would rather love to get some quick runs and then declare and give the fourth inning because batting in the fourth innings will be extremely challenging. And already we have seen signs of Manav Sudar. In fact, if you go back to the delivery, I think that was a quicker one, and that even Pravas Jayasuriya struggled to find his bat.
He was a left arm spinner. Pravas Jayasuriya himself is a left arm spinner, but he couldn't read the delivery of Manav Sudar. And also, see, never easy under dark clouds with the fading light. It's never easy for the batters. That's why that call to the right time to declare India's innings. I think that was good because the moment, yeah, thank you, Debashish. He's leaving because he has to join the Bangla Live. And We will continue. We will continue for a few more minutes. We'll take your questions as well. So please do send in. We'll take the questions in a bit. But that is why the time of the declaration became important. The moment Dhruv Jurel scored his 100, he went into overdrive mode. After that, the first scoring shot was a six over long on of Asita Fernando's delivery, and that signaled that now India are in a hurry to score, to take the uh, total past 500, because they were in a sight of 500 run mark, and which they did. So the approach changed, and then obviously Prasidh Krishna scoring that boundary, and then India declaring. The timing of declaration, because it was called at the right time. That's why Sri Lanka are in a position 8-4-2 with India firmly ahead in this test match. Now we will take your questions. Now, how close are we to WTC finals? Out of 7 upcoming tests, 4 wins will be enough. See, we'll have to check the combinations. What is the scenario? It will also depend on the that PCT, the PCT percentage, because if there is a slow bowling rate, then the points will be docked, and India would want to avoid that. That's why majority of the overs are being bowled by the spinners, so that the over rate remains at a good pace, and India are not fine, because at this position, India, what they would want is to get their points deducted because of the slow over rate. Slow over rate is something that team management captain will also keep an eye on. So I think they will have to win at least five of their next 7 matches in order to win, in order to qualify for the WTC final, which will be played at the Oval next year. But I think it will be important for them first to win this test match, and then think about the scenario. A lot has to go their way before in order to in order for India to qualify. But let's see, Prabhat. Mm, will there be heavy rain tomorrow? Nikita Das is asking. See, there was a forecast of light showers in the afternoon, but heavy downpour was there. We did a live as well. So there was a heavy downpour, and weather again is very unpredictable. We will give you a forecast, we give you weather report, and it turns out to be the opposite here in Colombo, as it has been the case with us right from the start of the first and only practice game that India played at the NCC. So there is a forecast of showers yet again tomorrow, but whether it will be just showers, passing showers, or whether it will be persistent rain, only time will tell that. Uh, you keep sending in more questions before we close off the show. Any update on injury recovery of Hardik and Bumrah? So Afghanistan squad has been announced. Let's see if Hardik makes the cut for that series. It's a home series. Obviously, Afghanistan hosting India, but it's a home series for India since they are playing on their turf. So depends. If Hardik plays that series, then obviously it will be the right signal. But for Jasprit Bumrah, I think that ODI series which they will play against West Indies, I think that he will target the next series. And obviously the all format tour of New Zealand is also there. So I think in regards to updates, we'll have to check with the Center of Excellence, and if we have any updates, we'll get back to you on that. Jurel was about to become MSD by getting run out on 99 at Test match. I was there at Nagpur when that happened. MS got run out at the fag end of the day. The run out by, I think it was the Alistair Cook mid off. He got out on 99. I was there. I was dejected when he got out. But yeah, it happens. Rishabh Pant has got out on number of occasions in 90s. Then there is a certain legend in Sachin Tendulkar who has got out on many occasions in 90s. So yeah, see, great players have fallen to 90s a lot of times. These are just few examples. Out of nowhere, freaking awesome is saying, out of nowhere, Sudar becomes the Fifth highest wicket taker in 2026 with 18 wickets. Nathan Smith of New Zealand tops the list with 24 wickets. Impressive. Sutar can pick 7 more wickets to reach the top. You never know. Yeah, definitely Sutar can. He has already started his spell with a bang with a wicket, although it was a tail ender, but still a wicket nonetheless. And the good thing is, from yesterday to today, there is more assistance for the spinners. Spinners are getting more turn. Yesterday there was only one or two odd balls that was spinning a lot, but today there was more help for the spinners because of the amount of overs that fast bowlers have bowled. The Sri Lankan fast bowlers have bowled. There are already foot marks. Now with Indian bowlers, fast bowlers bowling, there will be more foot marks, and that will create rough, and spinners will come into play than earlier in the day three. And let's see how effective spinners will be. Obviously, Indian spinners have been on top in this series, and Sri Lankan batters will be a tough challenge for them on a wicket which has a lot of spots, a lot of dry patches are there, as you can see on the wicket. Uh, Hope we don't play Lanka for the next 5 years. This series is a torture for genuine cricket, Test cricket fans. See, if you don't play Sri Lanka, then I don't know. Playing only with England, Australia, South Africa is good in terms of competitiveness. In terms of competitiveness, but you should play in all conditions. You should play all test playing nations. Completely, it's my opinion, but I don't think it should only be restricted to top three, top four teams playing each other. If you don't get exposure to these teams, they will never grow. And for the healthy cricketing ecosystem, you want all the countries to do well. That's why Ireland's progress, Zimbabwe's progress is so heartening to see. Nepal cricket, USA cricket for that matter, and then Italy qualifying last year for the World Cup, playing World Cup this year. This is so heartening to see, and full credit to ICC, the way they have been going about their business uh, under the monitoring, under the leadership of Mr. Jay Shah. So yeah, I think you guys are also done with your questions. So yeah, that was pretty much it about today. It was day two. Tomorrow, day three, will the first question will be that whether India can bowl Sri Lanka out twice tomorrow. That's going to be a big question. 18 wickets. We have seen that happening before, but can India do it tomorrow? They have the bowling. They have the bowling. Conditions are going to favor them. Sri Lanka are low on confidence apart from that one batter in Sonal Dinusha. Niroshan Dikwala doesn't inspire much of the confidence. So tomorrow we will head with a bag full of questions. First will obviously how long Sri Lanka can last on this wicket, which has something for the pacers, and then there's enough assistance for the spinners as well. Saurabh Kumar is saying, did Sri Lanka miss the trick by not preparing rank turnover where Indian batters would struggle? See, we discussed this in the build-up of this test match that if you prepare a rank turner, then yes, it will bridge the gap between the two teams. But again, if from a Sri Lankan's point of view, understand three of their top batters, three of their first choice players are not there. They are not available. Mathum Nisanka, Kushal Mendis, and Dinesh Chandimal. And then if you are asking for a lottery pitch, then obviously the quality of batsmen, despite their struggle in the past against spin, India would have been just 55-45 in favor of India to win this test match, even on a turning wicket, given the inexperience of Sri Lanka's batting lineup and the struggle they had in the recent past in the Caribbean and then in the World Test. Prasidh Krishna is the most lethal bowler. Sometimes he is a maverick bowler. When he finds his rhythm, when he hits the right lengths, there are hardly any bowlers in India that are better than Prasidh Krishna because of the qualities, the attributes that he has. He's tall, he generates a lot of pace, and he gets extra bounce as well. So yes, Prasidh Krishna, when his tail is up, he looks a different bowler. Yes, this was pretty much it for the day. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the morning live show before the start of the day. Tomorrow, remember, there will be an early start. 9:45 is the start. 98 overs is set to be bowled, given that weather weather doesn't play the spoils. So early start to the day for both the teams, and big day for India. They will be eyeing the 18 remaining wickets to win this test match and complete a series whitewash. So yes, we'll be back tomorrow. You stay tuned to Rev Sports for the best coverage of India Sri Lanka Test series, and not just cricket but everything related to sports. Keep following Rev Sports. This post day live uh, session was presented by the IDFC First Bank, and thanks for watching.